Hello. Mark, you're muted. There Hello. Now, something's happening with your mic, Mark. Still not coming through. Anyway, good morning, everybody. I just woke up. I got a mouthful of bagel here. Now I think maybe now there's some kind of electronic whine.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. I was in the mute zone and everything like that. So I'll go back over some of those news stories in a second. But tell folks what you're seeing on Drudge, and I'll go back to some of the ones that I just told.
All right, let me click over to Drudge. Gas hit almost $4.40 a gallon today, which is only 10 weeks of Biden's presidency had higher gas. So that partly it's, the Hormuz Strait is shut down, and partly May 1st is when the U.S. switches over to more expensive summer weight gas. Because in the summer, I guess the air is lighter because it's hotter, and pollution, is more polluty in the summer. So we switch over to a type of gas that makes less pollution, that's more expensive, which means you pay more at the pump every year. Plus, people start going on vacations towards the end of this month, and the refiners want to make some profits when people buy their gas to go on long trips.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that and everything. Let me go over some of those stories that we missed earlier,
Okay.
and you can jump in later as well, and hopefully other people will join me. But a knife attack on Jewish people in London. So I know your daughter's in London, but a man appears in court charged with the attempted murder of two Jewish men, and the potential actors are known to the state. Why don't we stop them is what the Telegraph is asking. So the man appeared in court over attempted murder, they're saying, of 3 people in a London knife attack.
So yeah, bad times for Jewish people in London. Our kid is visiting, and I was talking to her about it yesterday, and she has run into a couple situations where she got bad vibes. Nobody, threatening her with a knife, but she told me about once that so England has a long history of periodic anti-Semitism.
Mm-hmm.
She explained that that in America, you've got a ton of Jews. We have 6 million Jewish people in America, 2% of the population. And people in America are used to just seeing Jews like being Jewish people who aren't super religious, like myself and my family. And in England, it's not that. I guess it's different. But anyway, my kid has, like, somebody in a restaurant, said she must have a lot of money, and then touched his nose in reference to, Jewish people stereotypically have big noses. So she's stuff that we generally don't see in America.
Right. And I know sometimes we have on the network the gentleman from Bangladesh, Dr. Sharif, and hopefully he'll be joining us today, but we'll see what happens. But I was saying that a country near him, Myanmar's ex-leader Aung San Suu Kyi, has been moved to house arrest. So Myanmar junta is claiming benevolence by Aung San Suu Kyi, but it still rules cruelly. So the legal team is planning to meet with the detained Myanmar ex-leader this weekend, and maybe they'll see about this house arrest, or maybe they'll see what they can do about leadership in that country. So have you ever been to Malaysia or to any of these countries that are?
I've a long time ago, in the 90s, my wife worked for a perfume company, and she took me on a business trip across East Asia. We went to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur for a second. We went to Bangkok. We went to Hong Kong, and her job was to go into all these department stores there and make sure that their stock of perfume hadn't gone bad. And so she went around. She did a sniffing tour of East Asia, and found out, that your perfume only lasts for so long before it can turn stinky in a bad way. So I've been there a little bit.
And we've got Dr. Sharif. Speaking of Dr. Sharif, he's joined us. I know he's got that conference going on. So how's that conference going? I did see that Iran, and you mentioned oil earlier, gave the U.S. a new response on the draft peace deal. So they sent a fresh peace proposal to mediators, according to what state media said, and oil moves lower after reports of Iranian response to the U.S. Proposal. So I don't know what your thoughts around this, but apparently they're sending proposals for negotiations with U.S. to the mediator, Pakistan.
Yeah, this is very good news. I want to say that we do not need war. We do not need conflict, even though right now energy sector has a lot of challenges. Even let's say even today I see that price of Bangladeshi regular products going very high because of inflation. Heavily inflation is coming. In that situation, if this war is continuing, it will create a very, very negative impact for economics, for humanitarian issues. It may cause for third world war. So in that situation, definitely USA is a big country. USA has got a lot of good people. USA has the largest military. USA has even Bangladesh is a very good ally for United States. And in that situation, if USA go for this peace deal, even though this Pakistan helped them, that will be fantastic news for global communities. Even today, we from my World Talent Economic Forum, we are organizing global peace conference, as well as tomorrow we are inviting all of the our people in head-to-head discussion and offline discussions for the global peace. Global peace is necessary for economics. Global peace is necessary for stable conditions. Actually, after this COVID, lot of things happening. After this COVID, this war coming, right? Then this immigrations issues is coming. Then this like this tariff issues is coming. Then this Iran war and everything is actually creating lot of destructions. Even I see many of the business organizations, they shut down because of they are not performing well. It's a massive challenging situations. And thank you, Port TV, because you are bringing all of the good news, all of the genuine news. You are not going for this propaganda, what I call misinformation and disinformation. With all of your scholars, you are bringing the good things. So that's why the last week we do this microfinance institutions, those who win Nobel Prize, as well as this Shah Group of companies, Asia Pacific universities, and all of our ally from North America and Europe. We join together and we go for negotiations how we can make a better deal for finance, better deal for global peace, and so on. So we need all of your support. We need more collaborations. We need more open society to contribute our through our talent economy. Thank you.
Hey,
So
appreciate that.
somebody was yelling when I post on X. People, conservatives yell at me, and somebody was yelling at me yesterday, saying that under Biden, inflation was a total of 25%. That if you had $100 in say $100,000 in savings when Biden first became president, and still have that 100,000 when he left the presidency, it would only have $80,000 worth of purchase, or no, 75,000. Well, I know, no, $80,000 worth of purchasing power, because it's an additive. We had one bad year of inflation under Biden where it was 9%, and then you add the rest of the years, and it was probably altogether over 20%. Under Trump, we've had a year of 3% inflation. This coming year, his second year in office, by the end of his second year in office, inflation will probably average 4%. So that's 7% in the first 2 years of Trump, and then another couple of years of 3-4%. And we could have 15% total inflation under Trump, where you had $1 when he became president, you got 85 cents when he stopped being president.
Wow.
Which is a reason. Go ahead.
I just want to share some of the Asian news. Maybe it will can give a very
Yes.
specific information for this inflation. First thing first, if you see the overall inflation around 5.2% average inflation in 2026, according to Asian Development Bank. And IMF also typed the suggestions if it's a 2 to 3% for stable Asian economies. But we are observing due to energy and oil price is high rising. That's why it's again rising in Asia. So if you see strategically see Asia, You can find that low inflation is 1 to 3%. Mid range is 3 to 7%. High inflation is happening. It's happening in Iran, 40 to 10 to 40%. So if you see Japan is 1.3 to 1.5%. Is Malaysia 1.4%. Indonesia 3.5%. India 4 to 5%. Bangladesh, I told you, it says inflation is very high and big inflation is coming. It's 7 to 8%. Kazakhstan is 11%, and Iran it's a 40 to 48% inflation. So Iran has to understand that this peace deal is very very important, not only for the global community. This is also important for their economy, important for their things. So the main reason we are observing rising the oil price. Secondly, the global conflict affecting the supply chain because of these Hormuz issues. Currently, depreciation in some countries, it may causes a lot of inflations. So I want to say South Asia is medium. Some countries like Iran in Asia is very high, very very high, and developed Asia is a low inflation like Japan and other. But all of the country is heavily affected by the inflation because of oil and gas price. So we need to stop this war. We need to focus on this global peace. We need to go for the global diplomacy. Iran has to understand, USA has to take initiative, Israel has to understand, and the global community for work for global peace and so on. So now we have to stop this war.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
I looked up some numbers, and
Mhm.
during Trump's first term, inflation was a little less than total inflation. Start to end of his presidency was about 8%. It got really low during COVID because everybody was staying home and demand dropped. The price of gas in America got as low as $1.77 in the middle of COVID in 2020 because nobody was driving anyplace.
Yeah.
Then under Biden, like I said, the guy who was yelling at me exaggerated. It was total inflation hit about 21.5%.
Hey, just really quickly, Rick and Dr. Sharif, and all along those lines, in that same space, I did see that Donald Trump, and it's one of the things that I was saying when apparently I was silent and everything like that, is looks like he is weighing the idea of pulling back the U.S. troop presence, not just in Germany, but also where Nick lives in, which is Spain, and in Italy. So I just wanted your thoughts around that, because apparently this is all over the spat around the Iran war. And so
It's BS. The U.S. has been very successful for the past 80 years, since the end of World War II, being a participant in the world. We have 800 military bases on foreign soil. That is being the world's friend. And Trump gets in a snit, and he starts tariff wars, and he pulls it, when we pull back, China comes in, and that's great for China. China has this Belt and Road Initiative, which is China has been working for decades now to make sure that they can exchange their imports and exports efficiently and quickly between the countries of the world, which is building infrastructure, building transportation networks. And that's great for China's economy and also for the economy of its closest partners. And we only hurt ourselves when we pull back from the rest of the world.
But apparently he's making a threat to both Melania and well as Sanchez. I think Sanchez is the leader of the government of Spain. I think Melania may be Italy. But yeah,
what does that do? Spain, we shouldn't have a problem with Spain. Spain is a friendly country, a great country, so great that the head of our network moved to Spain because it's so nice over there. They're not a-holes. Germany is currently one of the greatest countries and best economies in the world. And what, we're thumbing our noses at frickin' Germany? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely ridiculous. By the way, there was another country, Antigua and Barbados, and I don't know how much you've traveled in those areas, but their prime minister is set to win fourth term, and that's Prime Minister Brown. So that's something going on as well.
Okay. I mean, they're a little, Caribbean country, island country.
Yes, it's one of the Caribbean countries and all along those lines, but apparently he leads the ABLP to victory in the general election. So apparently he's won, and it's his fourth term. So he's been their leader for a while, and I guess they're doing well. It is a tourist attraction. A lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah,
go there and see what-
some of those countries are going to face challenges under climate change because the storms hitting them are going to hit them harder. You got some rising ocean levels and lots of challenges for those.
And Nick, glad that you're here and everything like that. We were just actually talking about Spain because apparently the president is thinking about withdrawing troops from your neck of the woods. So he's threatening Sanchez and Bolani with U.S. troop withdrawal, and he's saying that cutting U.S. troops won't be easy. That's actually what Al Jazeera is saying, but that to the Trump threat. But what's your thought? You're in Spain, and I know that even my dad, when he was in the Air Force way back in the 60s, he was stationed in Turkey and everything like that. So I do know, and I've had friends in the military, and some of them have been stationed in places like Germany and places like Spain, some of the European theater. But what is your idea of this notion of him pulling back because they apparently didn't give enough support for our war with Iran?
What do we need troops in Spain for? Why do we need U.S. troops in Spain, Mark? Talk to me.
I guess it's part of that whole NATO alliance and part of the whole thing.
Yeah, but we have our own troops. We have our own police. We don't need U.S. troops here. You guys can leave. Goodbye. We have too many tourists anyway, so you guys can leave. So was that a threat or is that a promise? I guess that's the question.
And he talks out of his butt. We all know. Is he going to pull troops back? I mean,
but if he does, okay, Rick. I hate to say it. So what?
Well, because we've had a very successful economy for, like I said before you came on, for 80 years since the end of World War II, by having strong international ties. And when we pull back, we hurt ourselves, and then China steps in, and maybe eventually.
Hear me out. Make it real simple. Spain does not need U.S. troops. So if you guys want to pack your bags and leave, that's fine. Do you know how many tourists come to Spain every year? Close to 100 million. It's actually around 90 million people who come to visit. We've got a tourist industry that'll knock your socks off. It's bigger than the United States. So if you take out a couple thousand troops, what difference does it make? It's not going to affect the Spanish economy. Is that a threat or a promise? As a matter of fact, Spain is have started to tell tourists to go home. We got too many of you. So I don't see where that's a big deal or not. So if they're here, that's fine. If they're gone, that's okay too.
Okay, so you're talking tourism. When we're a dick to the rest of the world, which we kind of have been, international tourism to the U.S.
How is it?
Fell 6% in 2025, which cost the tourism industry $12.5 billion.
Yeah, 12.5 billion. Like there are more tourists coming to Spain there is in the United States. Sorry, Charlie. More people. I mean, a lot of people are moving here.
Because it's nice over there.
Yeah, it's nice over here. So the thing is, like if they say, "Hey, I'm going to withdraw troops," well, is that a promise or a threat? I don't know.
Spain has something like 1/6 or 1/8 the murder rate of the U.S.
Yeah, it's like 1/6 the murder rate of the U.S. It's safer to be here. I was in Vienna earlier this week. You walk around, all the streets are clean. What's a homeless person, by the way? They don't have them in Vienna. Sorry. I couldn't find one. I walked the whole city. I mean, all over the place. The problems you have in the States are not the problems of Europe. You guys have high crime, high, what they call it, homeless people, high unemployment. Well, actually, our employment, we're competing with you on that. Educational system that doesn't even crack the top 20 right now in the world, except for reading. So the thing is, until you clean up your act, who's spouting this stuff? Is it Donald? One chess player said this. Okay, this is really funny. They fund chess by the government in India. They fund chess by the government in Uzbekistan. They don't fund it in the United States. One chess commentator goes, well, that's because it's an intellectual sport, and this administration doesn't believe in intelligence. And I thought that was pretty funny.
Trump has famously said he loves the poorly educated.
Yeah, because they vote for him. I mean, I got that. I mean, it's just it. But here's the good news. This will all change maybe this year or at worst 2 years from now. And maybe the United States will actually find good leadership, will bring the United States to where it could be, which is a functioning superpower as opposed to a bunch of idiots that are in the
Yeah,
administration.
what the current administration does is it costs us time. That
And money,
yeah,
time and money. You just told me you just lost 12 billion. You know, Pakistan could use the 12 billion, right?
so
You know, I mean, a lot of people use it.
the amount of science funded by the government,
Yeah,
with government scientists were reduced from 1,500 to 125. That's
right.
that's a 87%
Yeah,
reduction.
yeah. Like I said, they're bad on that. The good news is Casey Means is gone. She was a stupid anti-vaxxer and graduated from medical school but never got a license. What's she doing? See, this is the problem with Donald. He doesn't choose his partners wisely. He doesn't choose his associates wisely. I don't know what happens. He was better in The Apprentice, choosing.
Well, he was a figurehead. His stuff was
somebody else was choosing him for him. But
yeah, the producers of the show were
the producer of the show, Barnett, was choosing him for him. But I'm just saying, the thing is, I had high hopes for him because I thought, oh, this guy's going to choose wisely. But then I looked at the curriculum vitae of all the people that are in the administration, and they're pretty poor in every sector. There are better people out there. Now, if there's a good person, they turn them down, then I can see the problem. In other words, they go, I don't want this government job.
Hey,
I don't think he even reaches out to the top.
Yeah, he doesn't reach out for qualified people. But Nick, just really quickly, I have a question for Dr. Sharif really quickly. Do y'all get a lot of these angry news and bad news? Because the other story, because we had some technical problems earlier that my mic wasn't working or whatever, probably was on my end. But I did see that Australia, there was an Australian team that was killed and a former prisoner arrested in connection with the death of the 5-year-old girl who vanished from her bed. And this sparked vigilante justice and violent clashes with police in Australia because an angry crowd riots outside the Australian hospital treating the suspect in the 5-year-old girl's death. And then there was the zoo worker, I think this was in Japan, who allegedly dumped his wife into a incinerator and everything like that. So
those are okay. Go ahead.
Zoo employee told police he burned his wife's body in the park incinerator, and apparently he was arrested for allegedly dumping his wife in that particular way. That's a horrible way to go and everything like that. But just wondering, how often is this kind of horrible news? I mean, we see it all the time on the crime shows, but how often does it happen in y'all's news in Bangladesh?
Okay, that is very good news for me, because someone actually bringing the real information that Western world has some sort of challenging things. It happened in Bangladesh. This is my honest opinion. It's happened in Bangladesh. That's why I do focus on wisdom. My educational system, my MBA program with North America, I get all of the brilliant people from North America and from Japan. Why we focus on wisdom? Because these kind of horrible things, even in USA, right? Just few days ago, 2 Bangladeshi students killed by one of the American guy. They are PhD scholars, like they are doing PhD, both of the man and woman. So it happened also in Bangladesh. I see that this kind of unhealthy thing, this kind of psychiatric issues and challenging happening again and again. People love to do a lot of good work also. There are many good work happening through religious activities, through NGO program and so on. But I see that recently there are some rape, there are some kidnap, there are some even today I see that the brother killed brother, Bangladeshi person, but they're in Italy. So this is the issues. I think that our education, our psychology, everything we need to fix. That's why we need to focus on wisdom. Wisdom is something which is absolutely powerful and valuable. That's Nick has very good wisdom. Even everyone like Rick and Mark, you have your own wisdom. You are good people. You have kind people. You have your sympathy and empathy, which is absent in our regular educations. So that's why I'm not alone with my Western friend, with my Japanese friends. We are taking these wisdom affairs like World Talent Economic Forum. You can say it's a wisdom affairs. And now we are getting a lot of good support. So we need to restructure our education. We need to restructure our values. We need to restructure the religious values, as well as we have to improve our culture. And social media, there are a lot of misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, and so on. We need to protect these things. We need good media like Pot TV, because Pot TV bringing really very good wisdom through their dialogue, which is important. And I request all of the audience, you should learn many good things from this kind of podcast. Thank you.
No, I
So
appreciate that.
can I hit a couple stories?
Yes, please. Sure.
Okay, so the Iran war is the least popular war among Americans, with 61% disapproval in the past 100 years. At least less popular than any of our other wars for a long time. That's the thing. Alex Jones, the right-wing bullshit artist behind InfoWars. InfoWars has finally been shut down. He has to pay. He was sued for $1 billion. Has to pay $1 billion to is the Sandy Hook families that he was constantly saying didn't have their kids murdered. He was libeling, slandering, and. So InfoWars is finally shut down. The Onion, the satirical newspaper, is trying to buy it. They want to bring it back to make it a parody site instead of a site that sells misinformation. Trump's salary for 2025 has been released. Elon Musk's salary for running Tesla. He got paid $158 billion. That's nearly $500 million every day.
Oh, hey, Rick, his net worth is now $830 billion. But let me tell you what's going on. As you know, in California and also in Seattle, they passed a wealth tax. Now they've created a citizens defense fund, which we can donate to stop millionaires from having to pay taxes or additional taxes. So are you going to reach into your pocket, Rick, to stop people who are making over $1 million a year to pay additional taxes? Don't you feel
No,
sorry
I'm
for that?
fine. Elon Musk Musk moved out of California and moved
I know
to
he did.
Texas. Didn't he move to Texas? He moved.
Yeah,
a
he
lot
moved to Texas, and Jeff Bezos moved to Florida because they have no income tax.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get out of the capital gains tax because the Oz transaction. And the average viewer who's listening to this doesn't know what an Oz transaction is. I'm willing to bet. If you don't
Yeah,
know
I have
what
no
an
idea
Oz
what that is, Nick. So I'm one of those people. But by the way, I did have a question for you because we talked about before. There are arts organizations and arts contests that are nationally known, but apparently one of them is running into some problems. So the Venice Biennale is thrown into fresh turmoil as the art jury has resigned because they resigned en masse over Russia's controversial return. So apparently Russia's coming back to this award. So the Italian culture minister is shunning the Venice Biennale due to the Russian.
Biennial thing. I think it's an art fair that happens every
Right.
2 years.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And apparently they're letting Russia back in, and people are upset that they're letting Russia back in and everything like that. So there's a retirement and resignation.
I think we're going to get a report shortly from the Kentucky Derby.
Good morning, everyone. This is Kimberly Calhoun reporting live from the Churchill Downs, located in the southern charming city of Louisville, Kentucky. How's everyone doing this morning at Pod TV?
Doing good. How's the Kentucky Derby?
Oh my goodness, it's so amazing. And we're just always on the go. We just got our racetrack assignment. We get to record live on the racetrack. We actually got a position just past the finish line. So our camera is right at the finish line. So this is
Nice.
Amazing, guys. Yes, it is.
No,
it
you're
is.
not wearing you're wearing a not crazy hat. Isn't the Kentucky
I'm here
Derby
in the
where?
morning. The crazy hats come walking in at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
So it's almost like the race starts. They have gates at the front, and they sound the horn, and they open the gates for people to come in, and it's just like a race at that point. It's pretty cool.
Is it the land of mint juleps? Is that the drink of the Kentucky Derby?
It is, and I think they actually have one that goes for $40,000. Yeah.
And there's also a lot of bourbon there as well, because I do know that Kentucky is known for its bourbon.
Yeah, they have like benefit breakfast, and it's called Biscuits and Bourbon. We're going to be going in. We took a training course this morning. I took a security training course just to know where we can go and not go, and then we took a photography one, and what we can and can't do. So there's a lot of do's and don'ts, and now we get assigned vests. They've readjusted a lot of the Derby today. Today is the Oaks race,
Mhm.
and originally the Oaks race would have been over around 6, but they've moved it to 8 o'clock tonight. So it'll be in the dark, except they'll have a lot of lights here, but they will not be using the main winning circle for the horses to walk through because there's no lights out there. So we'll be going into the paddock. So we have to get special vests today for security reasons to
And
go
Kim,
into
have
the
you
paddock.
Have you placed any bets? Are you a gambling person?
No, I'm not, but I placed my first one yesterday and lost. Joyce, who's with me, she's the camera girl. She's in, I hope, getting our vest. She placed her first bet ever in her life, and she won. She won a race yesterday.
have you
So
met any of the jockeys, and have you had a chance to meet any of the horses and everything like that?
no,
Isn't that
not yet, because we have at the winner's circle, but not like officially meeting because they're in and off. But I was here when an incident happened at the winner's circle. We get to film from the winning circle all week long, and I was in there, and they have like a little gate, like I don't know if you can see it, a little caution gate, and I was just past it inside the winning circle filming, and they were loading out to the track to do the parade to the gate to race. And while I was standing there, the horse got spooked. I was behind it, and it flipped around and bumped into me and backed me into a corner and threw the jockey off. So it was pretty scary. I got video. I don't have video of that. My camera wasn't on, but as soon as the horse calmed down, because he literally walked me into the corner, I turned on the camera after they got him tied down, and I watched him take care of them and how they do it, and that was pretty cool. I had first-hand experience. So, but yeah, it was pretty intense. 1,100-pound horse coming down on you is pretty scary. But
yeah, that would be
but
very scary.
I didn't scream or anything. I've been around horses, so I knew to calm my heart down, and I just put my head down and didn't. I try to be submissive, and I guess it realized I wasn't there to hurt him. But yeah, it was scary. But they have a good team of people here, and they had him down and under control.
Yeah,
And an ambulance, horse ambulance came,
yeah.
and
Kim, I've got to tease you because one of the things that I've always said about the horse racing, and like I've told you before, I want to go at some point. Maybe I'll go next year through Pod TV and everything like that. But it seems like a lot of people make a lot of money off of the horses and everything like that because there's a billion-dollar sport and everything like that. But if I remember correctly, the horse only actually gets maybe some stud rights, and it definitely gets to eat some oats and maybe some good roses and stuff like that. But it doesn't
the
get,
horses are spoiled, trust me. And they have 3 tiers of inspections. They have a track inspection agents that come out and inspect the horses medically, and they have a state inspector that comes out and inspects each horse, and a federal inspection. And they're all veterinarians, and they are the voice for the horse. They get inspected by all 3. It's pretty interesting. I met one of the veterinarians who participates. He's supposedly going to give us an interview if I can catch up with him. But yeah, it's they have a voice for the horses. They do put in a lot of work. But the people here love their horses.
yeah, they
When that
definitely love their
incident
horses.
happened, the horse's mouth was bleeding really bad, and the owners were down here immediately loving on it, and just it was very emotional.
Hey, Kim, just really quickly, because you also are connected to North Carolina State University, and I know that North Carolina State has a very strong veterinarian program. So
Yes,
just
they
wondered if you
do.
could talk about that, because I do know that they have a strong veterinarian program. I've actually met a young lady that was connected to that veterinarian program.
Oh, okay. We'll have to meet up sometime. But yeah, we've been reporting. I've been videotaping and getting B-roll. Our camera girl's been getting a lot of B-roll, and we'll put it together when we find some time. This is a long day. We come out early in the morning for the warm ups. They start at 5 a.m. The races have now been pushed off. Instead of at 6, the final race is now at 8 and 9 p.m. So these are very long days for all the people that work here. Um, you can just see how every day more and more people show up to get trained. There's definitely plenty of work around here if anyone needs a job. Are there any questions? You guys got any questions?
I just want to say that horse racing is a bad bet because the house takes 20% of the purse, which means you have to be that much better to overcome the house taking that much of your money for the privilege of betting.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, first off, you got to learn to play the odds, and the bigger the odds, the bigger take home you get. But we're going to go over all the different ways to bet. We've been reading about them, studying them, and there's just so many different. There is a race that happens here that actually the people put their money down, and when they bet, they actually win the horse. So if there are horses that you're interested in acquiring, they have a race that people bet on the horse to win the horse. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So you said you've been around horses. You ever been a horse owner?
No, we used to lease them. My son was a hunter jumper, a showman, and he was actually state champion and international silver. But it's expensive owning a horse. But we leased it, and it's expensive. We take care of as we own, but that way you could trade up your horses. So we leased horses and traded up as he grew. So. But yeah, 5 a.m. go out, take care of the horse. Yeah, it's great. It's a great lifestyle. It really is.
Okay.
But yeah, it's beautiful here. Hopefully, we'll build a relationship here, and we'll be able to continue come every year, make this one of our hot spots every year, and get better.
When's the main race? Saturday?
So the main race is Saturday, but here's the thing. In my whole life, I just thought that's all they did, right? There are like 10 to 12 races every day for 2 weeks, every day. And so people will start lining up outside to come in at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's crazy. And they start eating and drinking and betting all day long. And to be able to take wages, you have to attend a training course and classes, and it's a 5-hour class just to be able to take wages here. So,
what does take wages mean?
So they have a lot of cashiers, like the
okay, you mean
and they do cash only. Everything is cash only. So you don't bet with chips or credit card.
Well, I'd like being there. I don't gamble because the math is not in your favor. But in the old days, I might walk through a casino and look for money that people had dropped because there's a lot of money flying. Can't do that in a casino anymore because there's no cash. It's all these cards that you plug in. It's all credit card. But if it's all cash there would have to be a couple people like me who aren't betting, but are just walking around seeing if somebody dropped a $20 or $100 bill.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look for the pennies, right? But yeah, it's a lot of cash flow through here. They've got casinos now in the city. There for a long time, they would not allow casinos because they feared it competed with the racetracks. These racetracks here run every day of the year. Every day of the year. It's just the derbies are their big celebration where they draw in people from around the world. So, they establish the legendary horse every year. They've had an unveiling of a statue of Funny Side, and one of the ladies that I've been working with here, she got to be participate in the unveiling, and the jockey who rode Funny Side was there. So yeah, it's just the conversations here are of beautiful past legends that everybody talks about. The past legend, it's all about the history. and then about the future legends. So it's fun. It's fun. It's classy. I love seeing the men in the bow ties. We met a little boy, and you're going to see his photo. His name's George. He goes, "If you're looking for somebody to take a picture of, I'm your man." And he had a little cigar. He had a cigar, and he had it in his mouth, and then he took it out and put it in his pocket. He showed it. He had a wooden bow tie. It was so beautiful. So yeah, I mean, it's classy. Everybody. It's all very vintage here. That's what's fun. Everybody dresses more in a vintage style, and everybody's having fun. Nobody's angry here. I get too many mint juleps and bourbons. So
Race tomorrow?
So tonight is a big race, the Oaks. They've been Wednesday was a big racing day. They have charity day, and so a portion of the races go to charities. Tuesday is 502 day. It's the local days. And Thursday is another local day where they let the locals come in for $5 and participate in the activities. And again, like I said, all wagers and bets are done in cash. It's pretty cool. So a lot of money flowing through here.
Now I have an important question for Sharif, because he represents 171 million people in Bangladesh. Sharif, are you familiar with the Kentucky Derby in the United States of America? Sharif?
No. No.
See, the thing is, Kim, so this is the brilliance of what you're doing. You're bringing the Kentucky Derby to the world.
Yes.
Dr. Sharif has 171 million people that are not familiar with the Kentucky Derby. Plus, his next door neighbor has 1.6 billion, and his other neighbor has another 1.5 billion. And this way, they'll be familiar with the Kentucky Derby. Otherwise, they won't know about it. What do we got here?
So this is media pinned for being here. So the Kentucky Derby, 152nd Derby. It is the oldest sport in the world for stuff like this. To me, they have a saying, it is the world's most elaborate, most elite, most exciting 2-minute sport.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Sharif, it's a horse race. It's a horse race that takes 2 minutes. It's over with.
Still, only one horse has held the title. The fastest horse is Secretariat. It's held that time for the longest. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I just enjoy how well this place is ran. How well, they just have a system. And, a lot of changes have been happening for whatever reason the last 2 days. They've had to change up the security and everything. So there might be somebody special coming here. But the main race is tonight, which generally it used to be ran at 6, but they pushed it off to 8. And then the big Kentucky Derby is tomorrow.
So I've looked up gambling, and gambling is illegal in Bangladesh, but 5% of the population, according to what I read, gambles online, where it's harder to crack down. In America, in America, 10%, an estimated 10% of young men ages 18 to 30 are now gambling addicts or have problem gambling issues.
But you can enjoy the Kentucky Derby without gambling.
No, you can show up in your hat. You can show up in your Southern gentleman, bolo tie. You can.
I'm going to change up today for the event tonight. I'm going to go back to the room because instead of going the normal route, how everybody drives to the expo center and then rides a shuttle bus, it takes about 2 hours to do that to get here. So the employees spend about 2 hours getting here every day. I hired a driver. I invested my money in a driver and it got a cheaper hotel. But we've been going back and forth during the day to rest a little bit so that we can do the evening events. But it's a big tradition here. But I did learn something new technical that's going to change our industry. Is they have upgraded cell phones now and they've been doing the 4K, which is great for TV, but now they have the 5G signal that goes to the broadcaster for device to device in the network world. So the network industry now, you can do network broadcasting through your cell phone.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
How's
cool.
the food? Do they have specialized like?
Just whatever the chefs want to cook this year. They do have a lot of interesting food, but I haven't really said we don't eat on the outside of the media center. But I've seen some of the food is very elaborate looking. Everything's decorative. Like they'll have chocolate strawberries stacked a certain way and things like that. But it's very hard to see things because there's so many people. Right now, there's nobody here. Everybody's working and preparing for 11 o'clock. So
Yeah. But tomorrow it's going to be jam packed with people.
And, fortunately, I brought my boots, 2 pairs of boots, because most of our work is on the track. So we literally walk in the muddy track. I've got pictures of it looking like soup out there when it was raining. And we literally get...
So,
well, this is one of the problems with media.
Yeah, well, until Kim comes back, I looked up another number. Tomorrow, the race day, more than $250 million will be wagered, including $250 million on the main race itself.
So, but if you look, I get to walk out onto the track here. I got to be careful because they just graded, but we get to walk out here. We lift the gate here. I can't lift it. Somebody has to lift it for me. It's really heavy. Then we walk outside the rail, and then we find our rail position, which we're down. We're lucky. We're down just past the finish line. I thought Joyce was going to die. She was so happy because we were like one of the last to get an assignment because, we didn't get invited until late. So we got a real assignment in the most beautiful spot. Could not have bought that spot. And so we get to walk out there. We've been walking out there all morning long. We get to cross the track. They do turf racing, and so we can go over into the turf area and get low ground shots. We were laying in the grass yesterday getting low ground shots. So it's great. I love it here. I don't think I want to live here, but they've treated us really nice. We're just learning the rules so that we can keep coming back every year. Maybe bring Mark with us next year.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, So don't get into too much trouble so we can keep our contract with the
I've been really good, Nick.
So I looked up with hundreds of millions of dollars flying around tomorrow. I looked up if there's ever been like a Ocean's 11 type heist. Never has. There are some video games or escape rooms which have that theme, but nobody's ever tried to take down the purse at the Kentucky Derby. However, in a related crime was there was a bourbon theft ring in Kentucky that people were stealing from a distiller for 7-8 years and making off with millions of dollars worth of bourbon.
Yeah, we have to introduce American culture to Bangladesh, like stealing bourbon and betting like $750 million.
Oh, let me tell you what's bigger than the bourbon and betting here: cigars. I have never seen so much effort put into cigars in my life. I mean, they're everywhere. Little kids are carrying them around. I'm talking real cigars. They have cigar booths everywhere. So next year, when I get really rich, this is where I want to be sitting. And, maybe we'll have media here. But these nice little booths, if you can see them behind me.
Yeah, I can see them, yeah.
6 people. They're 6.
Where'd you go?
All right, so I just quickly looked up. A cigar at the Kentucky Derby will generally run you $20 to $30 per cigar.
Yeah.
I think
see all the money you're saving, Dr. Sharif, by staying away from stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. America is really saying. Now, remember, I live in Europe, but we have our own craziness. We have, believe it or not, in Spain they have bullfighting. in southern Spain, and then you run with the bulls in northern Spain. So they have their own little quirks here, let's put it that way. But in the United States, they have the Kentucky Derby, which is a pretty exciting race. I try to catch it every year because it's 2 minutes of who's going to win this thing, And they introduce all the horses.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's amazing. By the way, the
And
horses come from all over
technology
the world.
sometimes, but
Yeah.
I'll get that fixed. That won't happen again.
So how much for those booths over there, Kim?
6,000.
So do we get the whole booth if we got it?
Yeah, it's for 6 people. So
Oh, really?
get the $1,000.
Where are you sitting at right now? I mean, where are you going to sit tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow? Anywhere I want. So I can't show you my badge, but we have access to anywhere, to the racetrack, to
Right.
some of the suites. But we don't get to sit, okay?
Yeah.
But we can tomorrow. We can bring a chair for the rail.
Okay.
So there's special chairs that we would, and I don't own one, so we're just gonna kneel in the mud. But
Right.
but I'll probably at the race. We'll be at the rail watching the horse,
Okay.
and then we'll go into the paddock to film the winner.
Well, you
So
Okay.
we're on
Really?
this side. Yeah, we're
Okay,
on this
they're gonna let you film the winner tomorrow?
I've been filming the winner every day.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Whoa.
allowed in the winner circle. Yep.
Wow, I did not know that. Okay,
Yeah.
you're selling me to come back. Okay, get me one of those booths for next year. We're going.
Okay, $6,000. There
Yeah,
you go.
but that's not a
But
problem.
yeah, they're really gracious,
Yeah.
including there's some things first years can't do, but
Right.
being railside's pretty cool. Let me tell you.
Right.
So all week
Yeah.
long I've been railside anyway, but today we got our rail assignment for tomorrow and tonight,
Right.
and having
Okay.
the rail assignment that we have, but I call it hoof side. We're hoof side. We're on the track. We're literally physically on the track. If you see this rail right here in this fence,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
we
I'm familiar with that.
kind of go between. So that's where we get to hang out.
Yeah. And Churchill Downs is very historic for America, as you know.
And it's huge, right? Like
Yeah.
this place is.
There it is. Oh, wait, stop right there. Wait. Go back. See that? That is an iconic shot with that little spire up the
There's
top.
two. There's the twin
There's
spires.
two of them. You're right. There are two of them.
They're
Yes.
twin spires. I've been getting photos of them all week. Different sunlight actions. Woodruff bourbon is like the man here, right? Like that's the bourbon. If you look behind me, there's a group of people. Let's see if I can get them. Anyway, the media is getting ready for some of the races, and I'm going to have to go get my vest.
Right. How many horses are running in the main race?
20.
That's a 10. So when you're standing by that, does the ground shake with 20 big ass horses running down the field?
Yeah, they only allow so many horses to run.
So this track right here is pretty big, actually. But there's two tracks here. There's a track, this track, and then there's the turf track. And so they run races on both all day long. But the Derby itself will be ran on the dirt track. The dirt track has quite a history, which I'll share with you guys another day. But, they actually had dug this out to almost 20 feet deep. And it's this kind of special dirt all the way up.
Yeah. Also, if you take some still pictures, we can put together a special still pictures, just regular camera pictures.
I've done a lot. So
Yeah,
we took about 800 stills yesterday. So,
Really good, because we'll
we're
put together
going
a show
through them
using
to clean
those.
them up and get
Right.
them prepped to do a video for the TV network.
Right.
This is our first year, so we're learning the ropes. I
Yeah.
will say this, the best thing that I invested in was a car driver. The best thing. I'm going to give a shout out to them because they gave us a deal.
Mhm.
They cost $5,000 for two.
There goes the shout out. Hey, notice I'm beaming from Spain and you're beaming from Bangladesh. We don't have a problem, do we, Dr. Shree? But if you're beaming in the United States, that's a different story. The technology can be a little bit challenging. Well, it's the internet connections, as we all know.
It's also we're running up against the hour.
Yeah, aren't we at the hour? So we're gonna have to go.
All right, have a
Because
good
we have
weekend.
a chess show coming on, and yep, we're at the hour, so we're gonna have to go. We'll see you tomorrow, and I'm gonna run clips right after this, and yeah, I think we're done. As I say, we're done until tomorrow, and tomorrow will be a big one for us. The Kentucky Derby on Pod TV. Everybody say goodbye.